Hey yo, what's up YouTube? Gecko Girl coming at you with another video. And today, we are going to end our 4-part series just in time for Christmas. For those of you who are shopping out there for a reptile lover, this is a series for you. So yeah, that being said, we're going to talk about ball python initial setup cost. So I can't get any of our ball pythons out right now. They actually have mites. We got some coconut fiber bedding. What? What? Oh my God! Holy crap! Holy! It's freaking gorgeous.
It's so black.
We're keeping it.
It's so black.
We're keeping it. I hope you know this. We're keeping that one. Okay, so new babies, guys. Check out my ad on Craigslist. Anyway, I also have another ad on Google Plus, and my mom has my ad up on Facebook. So, yeah. Anyway, so I can't get any of the ball pythons out because we got some coconut bedding a while back that had mites. And not many people know this, but it can actually take a couple months for mite eggs to hatch. So even though we killed off the mites that were there, I guess they had eggs way in the back of our racks, and those just now hatched. So we have mites again. But I can still run through the cost with you guys and everything. So that being said, hey, Mr. Snake Expert, come here.
Bye.
Come here.
Bye.
Come here.
Going back in the closet.
You're coming out of the closet.
Yeah. The tub's going back in the closet. Those are 2 eggs. The other 2 eggs should hatch in the next few days.
So first thing you need for a snake, bulb, about $13 to $15. Probably get it as cheap as like $10. What the fuck? There's kids that watch this. Anyway, so
You just cussed.
bulb. Sorry, parents. Anyway, got a bearded dragon on the front of it, but I promise you, snakes use this. So, okay. Other thing, you need this lamp. I was able to price match it for $10, so we're at $20. And for those of you who watch my channel regularly, you know I just got a baby bearded dragon, who is freaking adorable, I might add. But anyway, so minimum. This is the minimum size tank you would want for an adult ball python. Is this right here, 40-gallon breeder? Okay. For a true African or a Vesper, which get a lot bigger than your normal ball, I would do like a minimum of a 55-gallon. Anyway, so that's the size tank you want. So you need the tank, the screen. Oh yeah, I forgot about the screen. So the tank is like $55 on sale during the dollar per gallon sale. Anything above 30 gallons is now only half off. It's not $1 per gallon. Anything 30 and below is $1 per gallon. So 40-gallon breeder is $55 plus $25 for the lid. You're looking at $80, and then another $20 to $25 for the bulb and the lamp. So you're looking at like $105. Substrate, 3 bricks. It's like a pack of 3 bricks is like $10. $115. And then you need a hide for the snake, which, you know, just simple, you know, like a half a log. I know you guys seen them at the pet store. I have one in one of my crested gecko cages, and then the other one is being soaked right now to get mites off of it. It was in the blood python cage. But anyway, so yeah. So there's that. Hide's probably about like $15. And then you need a heat pad as a backup if your bulb blows. So anyway, that puts you up about $150, $160. And you have a setup It's perfect for a baby ball python and plenty of room for it to grow into. These guys only reach about, males reach about 4 and 4.5 feet, females about 5 to 5.5. A true wild African ball python female can get about 6 feet or a little over 6 foot. Even though nobody believes me, I have held like a 6.5 foot female before, and it was amazing. So, anyway. So that, oh yeah, and go to the dollar store and get you a water dish. They need a water dish. So, get you a Tupperware container, a big Tupperware container, bigger than the shoebox size, okay? You know, like the size that you would put soup in, you know, like a big pot of soup or a big pot of chili in, you know, just a little, like the length of the shoebox Tupperware containers, but a little wider. And that's plenty big enough for them, just big enough for them to get their whole body in and be able to soak. And that's going to help you out a lot, because if their cage is really super dry and you haven't had the chance to spray it down or wet it down, they can get their whole body in that bowl and soak and get that shed off, rather than you having to physically take them out and soak them for a little while and do it yourself. I mean, you still may have to. If it's a bad enough shed, you may still want to take them out of the cage and do that. But it just helps out with them having nice, good, clean sheds. So, and that's really all you need for a ball python. You need a heat pad, bulb, lamp, cage, substrate, which you can use coconut fiber, you can use, but be careful who you buy from, obviously. And you can use Eco Earth. You know, there's a lot of different substrates you can use for a ball python. You can use the Jungle Mix. I prefer Eco Earth personally, and the Jungle Mix is what I prefer. Let's see. Okay, a hide and a water dish, and that's all you need. Well, and the screen for your cage. And that's all you need for a ball python. I also highly, highly, highly recommend getting locks for your cage, because ball pythons are a snake that like to explore. They are active hunters, and they are very, very, very curious animals. I like to call them the cat of the snake world, because they have such a curious nature about them. If you've ever played with a ball python for any length of time, you'll know what I'm talking about. And if you let them loose and let them go, they want to get into everything and check out everything. They want to know where everything is and why it's there. They want to know what everything is and why it's there. And it's personally what I love about them, but they do have that certain nature about them. As far as the animal itself, a normal baby ball python costs like $30 to $40 at the pet store, or about the same, honestly the same from a breeder, $30, $40 for a normal. You can probably get them as cheap as $25 from a breeder. And then always check out your fancy ball pythons at the pet store, because even though I really don't like PetSmart, Petco, they're alright, depending on which Petco. And also Pet Supermarket's been doing it too. They'll have fancy ball pythons where it's like $100, and sometimes there'll be a pastel that comes in. I actually got a super vanilla pastel for $100, and that was my Lucy that passed away. She was beautiful. Anyway, like $600 snake, I snagged that for like $100 just because she was labeled under fancy. Petco, you're probably not going to get as lucky, because they do price their bananas according to what it is. They'll price their bananas at $150, $300 depending on what it is. And the only snake I've seen like that at PetSmart is the pieballs. The pieballs they'll price out about $400, and the same for Petco. So, but you never know. You may get lucky and get a nice snake pretty cheap. You know, clowns can come in under fancy, and you never know. So it's always good to check it out. Also, really check out the snake when you look at it. Make sure it's healthy and everything before you take it home. Not knocking on the staff at all pet stores, but not every pet store does a good job of taking care of their animals, and most don't. At least big name ones like Petco and PetSmart. I can say Pet Supermarket is a step above the rest. They do take care of their animals. My boyfriend works there. I've been to several of the locations. They take care of their animals. So, and I know our local Petcos, our 2 local Petcos that are close to us are really good. PetSmart, I've seen some things I really wished I hadn't seen though. But, so yeah. And that's basically it. That's all you need for a ball python. So, just a review, we talked about crested geckos. We started with leopard geckos. About $50-$60 for a leopard gecko setup. And you don't need that much for them. You just need 2 dishes. 2 dishes. Yeah, 2. A hide, heat pad, tank, and a lid. Not that bad. So, oh, and a hide. So, and the substrate. So, there you go. Probably going to come out at $60-$70, realistically. Unless you really shop around and find a cheap 10-gallon tank, you know. Crested gecko, you're looking at probably $100 to $200 setup. At the end of this video, I will show you a new setup I did for a gargoyle, but it will work for a crested, and it's the cheapest I was able to do for a tank setup. Not a tub setup, but it was the cheapest tank setup that I was able to do. And I probably could have gone a little cheaper if I had sacrificed some of the aesthetics, but you know, Bearded Dragon was $200 to $300 for a starter setup. Another $60 for the animal. So you're coming out about $200. Well, it was right at almost $300. So you're coming up at $360. The crested gecko, you're coming up at $180 to $280 for animal and cage, because crested gecko is about $60 to $80 for a crested gecko baby. Leopard gecko baby is about anywhere from $15 to $30 at a pet store, or a breeder for your, you know, Tremper albino, your normals, your high yellow, you know, your cheap stuff, none of your expensive fancy morphs. So you're looking at probably right about $100 for right under $100 for a leopard gecko and setup. So far, coming out the cheapest. Ball python, you're looking at right about $200 for setup and the animal itself. Looking at right under $200. So pretty close to the price range of the crested, and a lot less care involved. They eat once a week. As babies, as adults, you can get by with feeding them every 2 weeks. I personally like to feed mine every week. So they eat once a week as opposed to every other day like a crested. You have to change your food. I would want to say leopard geckos are a little less high maintenance than a crested, but not much less. You can get by without spraying a leopard gecko cage for a few days. Cresteds do need to be sprayed every day. I notice a difference when I don't always get to spray mine every day, and it's embarrassing me and admitting that, but you know, work, school, sometimes you don't, yeah. But cresteds do need sprayed at least once a day. The bearded dragon's probably the most high maintenance, I would say, as adorable as he is. Fed twice a day, fresh veggies and bugs. I usually do veggies for breakfast and bugs for dinner. and you have to keep up the bulbs. You have to make sure those are working and everything, and keep an eye on that. So it is a little bit more work. But, so that being said, they're all 4 really good starter animals for the herper on your Christmas list. But I think the winner here is going to be the leopard gecko. For sure. They're cute, full of personality, cheap starter setup, cheap to feed. They eat once a week. Buy them some crickets, and they're good. 10 to 12 crickets per gecko, I'd say. I'd do probably like 8 for a baby, 8 small ones. So they are prone to parasites, like coccidia, stuff like that. Leopard geckos are very prone to that stuff, whereas cresteds are more hardier as far as those things go. A crested is going to be a little tougher to leave behind if you're going to be gone on vacation for like a week, and if you travel a lot. A crested probably is not going to do too well unless you have a roommate or somebody that can spray that cage for you and change out that food for you. A leopard gecko will be okay if you go to the beach for a week. Feed it the day you leave, spray its cage down really good the day you leave, and leave it a small water dish in there while you're gone, and you're good. Bearded dragon, you're going to need somebody, if you are going to be on vacation for like a week or something. A bearded dragon definitely can't be left alone. It's going to have to be checked on every day. So if you've already got cats like we do, or if you got dogs and you got somebody that's got to come over and feed your dogs or feed your cats while you're on vacation, they're going to have to feed the bearded dragon twice a day whenever, just like they'll have to come over twice a day to feed your dog or feed your cat. So it shouldn't be too much extra work if you've already got somebody pet sitting for you. Ball python, don't even have to worry about it. Again, feed it before you leave. Give its cage a good spray down. If you have no other animals, you don't even need to have anybody come over and check on it. That's it. So, crested gecko, I would rate number 2 just because they're great with kids. They're great with, they're just great with people in general. They seem to really like people. They seem to really like attention, most of them. I have a few that are very shy, very skittish, but they're very sweet, very docile animals. And of course, I have a little bit of a bias because they are my favorite. I would rate the bearded dragon at number 3 because they are great with kids. It's not a starter animal for a young kid like a 6 or 7 or 8 year old. I would not get them a bearded dragon just because all the work involved in taking care of a bearded dragon. A small kid like that is not going to keep up with that. Most aren't anyway. You might have a really responsible 7-year-old that is willing to do that and willing to put in the work to that animal. Even then, you're still going to have to keep an eye on that kid because the bulbs used for the bearded dragon get very, very super hot, and they will burn the crap out of your kid. So that's always a caution. So, but they are a great family reptile. Like, as far as a family reptile, I would rate them tied number 1 with the leopard gecko for a family reptile, because this is a lizard that you can get out and let it run on the floor if you don't have any other animals, and you and your kids sit on the floor and play with this thing when it grows up. They're great, like I said, they're great with kids. They're great with families. They're loads of personality. So if you are somebody with young kids and you want a lizard, a bearded dragon is a good option. But don't get it for a small child if you're not willing to put in the work to take care of it. It is a great starter animal for a teenager. If you don't want to, if you work all the time and you want nothing to do with taking care of an animal, and you feel like you don't have the time for it, and if they're willing to take care of it, yeah, you'll get it for them. It's a good starter animal for a teenager. A teenager is going to know better than to burn itself on the lights. It's going to be more careful with the lights. I mean, an 8-year-old will know better, but still, they might accidentally burn themselves on the lights. A teenager is going to be a little bit more careful. So, yeah. And finally, the ball python. Great starter reptile for a teenager or adult. I would only recommend it as a starter reptile for a, say, 7, 8, or 9-year-old or 10-year-old if that child is used to being around snakes and knows how to respect that animal and it's not going to do anything stupid to get itself bit. So, that being said, they're all great starter animals, but they all have their different pros and cons, their own situations that they're best suited for. So it's really just whatever works best with your life. And yeah, that being said, I hope you all have a very safe and happy holiday, Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate this time of year. And I hope it's full of family and full of love. And I hope I helped you out with picking the right reptile for the herper on your list. So anyway, that being said, guys, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because I post new videos every week. These past couple weeks I haven't because I've been really tied up at work, work, Thanksgiving, and then school and finals, and it's just been nuts. So anyway, that's it for today's video, guys. Gecko Girl, peace out.